The Bowler family lived in a giant, expensive house in Lagos they called the Citadel. This house showed everyone how rich and powerful the family was, with its white marble and shiny wood. The family's money came from oil and owning lots of land. The father, Martin Bowler, was a very powerful man in business. He was respected because he was not only rich but also very honest. He loved his oldest daughter, Clara Bowler, very much. Clara was 25 years old and the real jewel of the family. She was a beautiful young woman with smooth, dark skin and eyes that looked smart and kind. Everyone knew she was going to lead the family business one day. But her best quality was her good heart. She was always polite, kind, and always tried to do the right thing. She saw the Bowler family money as a chance to help people. She used the money to support schools for girls in Nigeria. For Martin Bowler, Clara's good character was worth more than all their wealth. She was the true heir. But the peace of the home was always spoiled by Melissa Bowler. Melissa was Clara's younger stepsister, 22 years old. She came to the house when she was 10, after her mother, Anna Bowler, married Martin. Anna was a woman of chilling ambition and only cared about climbing the social ladder. Melissa did not have Martin Bowler's blood, and this made her feel like a fake in the rich family. Anna always reminded Melissa that Clara got everything easily, and Melissa had to fight for what she wanted. This made Melissa deeply jealous and angry. Melissa was beautiful too, but her face often looked sharp and unhappy, always comparing herself to Clara's calm beauty. Melissa wanted the most important thing of all, the respect and power that belonged to Clara. The talk of all rich people in Nigeria soon turned to one man, John Zeku. He was the only son of the Minister of Commerce and would inherit the huge Zeku companies. This business empire controlled oil, buildings, farms, and the country's biggest private electricity company. John was the most wanted bachelor in West Africa, but he was tired of people only seeing his money. He wanted a real partner. He met Clara at a fancy government dinner. John was quickly bored by the usual small talk, but Clara was talking seriously and smartly about how to grow food in dry areas. John was caught by her strong opinions and her gentle manners. Their first talk went on all night. John saw that Clara did not care about how rich he was. She cared about what he thought and what he wanted to do for the country. Clara also saw that John did not just talk about his money. He talked about the good he could do with his power. He was kind, smart, and saw the real Clara. Their relationship grew quickly and became public. Everyone agreed it was the perfect match. Two powerful families coming together. They talked for hours about John's plans for the electricity company, and Clara always gave smart ideas about helping the people. John felt they were partners in mind, not just in money. When they announced their engagement with a beautiful diamond ring, it was set in stone. Clara and John were strong together, and their love was based on deep respect. But the news of the engagement completely broke Melissa. She had spent years trying to get John's attention, going to his parties and trying to impress him in business meetings. John had always kept her at a distance. "It's impossible, Mother," Melissa cried, throwing a vase. "I deserve his power. She's too soft." Anna Bowler was calm. "Being nice is worthless, Melissa. It is time to stop playing games. Since you can't beat her with your own character, you must steal her very being." Anna told Melissa the shocking plan. Melissa would get plastic surgery to look exactly like Clara. Anna used secret, powerful friends to fly Melissa to a hidden, high-security clinic in a far part of South America. This was a place where doctors were paid huge amounts of money to do risky, secret surgeries. The change was painful and lasted over 4 months. The doctors copied Clara's face perfectly. Her nose, her jawline, her smile. Melissa went through the pain, thinking only of the day she would steal Clara's life. After the surgery, she spent weeks practicing to be Clara. She watched hours of videos, learning Clara's small movements, how she tilted her head, how she laughed, and how she spoke. She needed to be a perfect actor. Back in Lagos, Anna told everyone that Clara was away on a private retreat to get ready for the wedding. Anna wrote fake emails from Clara to Martin and John. John, busy with business and trusting Clara, accepted the explanation. Melissa talked to him on the phone, copying Clara's voice perfectly. Anna also prepared a secret, old guesthouse outside the city. This would be Clara's prison. Melissa returned to the Citadel, a perfect, empty copy of her sister. The wedding day was huge and expensive. The church was covered in white flowers. Minutes before the ceremony, Anna and 2 hired men carried out the last part of the plan. Clara arrived at a back door to get dressed, where she was surprised. They gave her a strong drug and quickly took her to the isolated guesthouse, locking her in a secret, soundproof room. Meanwhile, Melissa, wearing Clara's expensive dress, looked in the mirror. She was perfect. She was Clara. Martin Bowler, crying happy tears, walked Melissa, thinking she was his daughter, down the aisle. John Zeku stood waiting, full of love. He saw his beautiful bride, and he had no reason to doubt. Melissa said the wedding vows exactly right, sealing her place at the pinnacle of society. The priest announced them husband and wife. At the wedding party, Melissa played her role well, but soon, the fake started to show. On the corporate jet for the honeymoon, John began to notice strange things. The woman who looked exactly like Clara did not use their special, secret nicknames. She did not like to talk about their past, and her voice sounded different when she was tired. One night, John watched her closely. When she argued with a business partner, she showed a flash of cold anger that the real Clara would never show. The greatest shock came when he saw a thin, faint line on her inner wrist, a surgical scar that Clara did not have. This small mark made the sickening suspicion turn into the terrible truth. The woman he married was a fake. John immediately stopped the honeymoon, saying there was an urgent business crisis. Back in Lagos, he started a secret investigation. He used his company's vast resources to trace large, secret money transfers from Anna Bowler back to the South American clinic known for strange cosmetic surgeries. John used computers to check her voice and old photos. The result was clear. He had been tricked. Far away in the isolated guesthouse, Clara woke up. She was weak but determined. Her guards were lazy, thinking she was too weak to move. Clara found a small piece of wire and spent 2 days silently working on her metal shackles. Finally, she was free. She waited until the guards were asleep, slipped out of the room, and escaped into the darkness. She knew exactly where to go, Abadan. She knew her father had a quiet, secure house there, a place Anna never knew about. Clara arrived at the Abadan house 2 days later, tired and bruised, but safe. Martin Bowler arrived quickly. When he saw his daughter, battered, but clearly his Clara. He was filled with both immense relief and terrible anger at Anna's betrayal. Martin knew they had to tell John. Martin made a secure video call to John Zeku in Lagos. John answered immediately, already knowing the terrible truth. Martin, thank God. I have the proof. I know she isn't Clara. My security team is ready to move. Stop, John. Look, Martin said, turning the camera. Clara, tearful but alive, looked into the screen. I'm here, John. In Abadan. I escaped. John gasped, his face filled with love and relief. Clara, thank God, my love. Are you hurt? She took everything, but you're safe now. Clara told him what happened. They spoke of old memories and nicknames, confirming everything. They made a plan. Clara would stay safe in Abadan, and John would handle the police in Lagos and find Melissa. But Melissa, who had become extremely paranoid, was listening to John's office feed through a secret device. She heard the whole conversation. The sound of John's true, desperate love for the real Clara destroyed her. Her surgical sacrifice, her meticulous performance, all for nothing. The perfection was shattered. Melissa burst into the study just as he hung up. Her face, Clara's face, was twisted in cold defeat. So, you know, she whispered. You finally figured it out. And you, she hissed, pointing at the laptop, you couldn't just stay gone, could you? John stood up, his face hard and serious. You stole my wife, Melissa. You committed fraud and kidnapping. The police are already on their way. This is finished. Melissa laughed, a terrible, empty sound. Arrest? Never. I look like a bowler. You can arrest the picture, John, but you won't arrest me. Melissa knew she would be arrested, and she saw her only escape. She ran past John, grabbing a bag she had hidden, and sped towards the private airfield used by Anna's secret companies. John called his security, but Melissa was too fast. She had paid a crew chief weeks before for an emergency flight. She forced the pilot onto the waiting private jet and demanded immediate takeoff, ignoring all safety rules. The flight was reckless. Melissa's panic pushed the pilot to fly outside of safe zones and too fast. Less than an hour into the flight, the plane had a terrible accident. There was a huge boom and a flash of light. The jet crashed and exploded over the ocean. Search teams found only wreckage and oil. Melissa Bowler's body was never found, a final, chilling disappearance that erased the physical evidence of the woman and her deception entirely. In the next few months, Anna Bowler was arrested, found guilty of fraud and kidnapping, and lost everything. Martin Bowler, heartbroken by his wife's terrible betrayal, divorced her quickly, cutting all ties. After the dust settled, and the emotional and physical scars had begun to heal, Clara and John finally had the true wedding. It was not the massive, public event they planned, but a small, heartfelt ceremony held in the Abadan garden where Clara had found refuge. It was a celebration of survival, loyalty, and a love that had stood against the worst lies. The story of Clara and Melissa became a strong lesson for everyone. It showed that character is the only true inheritance. Melissa did everything possible, even changing her face, but she could never steal Clara's spirit, honesty, or the warmth John truly loved. John's deep love allowed him to know the fake instantly, proving that the lie was exposed not by science, but by the deep malice in Melissa's heart. This tragedy also showed that being jealous and greedy hurts you. Melissa only wanted to take what she didn't earn, and this obsession led her to a terrible end. A life built on lies and wanting what others have is weak and always destined to break. Finally, the story proved that true love wins. The powerful trust between Clara and John was tested by the biggest lie, but their commitment to the truth and to each other allowed them to survive. Their simple wedding was a strong statement that real value is found in being true to yourself, a truth that defeated the powerful illusions of deceit that Melissa had created.